Well, hey, good to see you all again. Of course, I'm actually recording this ahead of time, so we haven't yet met on our synchronous session, but I'm sure it went great. And we all got to know each other, talked about some good music, and had a fantastic time. This is just to let you know, tech is hard. This is my third take making this video because tech has just been a nightmare so far. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by it, trust me, we all are. It's all good. Anyway, today we're going to be diving into a music theory topic, the idea of instrument families. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you the lesson that should be on your Google Classroom. If you go to the Nearpod link, you can find it looks like this. And basically, when we talk about instrument families, and I know it says protest music, that's going to be more in the synchronous session. Don't worry about that just yet. We talk about instrument families. Certain instruments just have certain characteristics that, depending on where they came from, be it, Ghana, be it Indonesia, be it, Vietnam, basically wherever they come from, they're going to sound slightly different. But across the globe, we see a lot of similarities between four types of instruments, four families of instruments. Those are woodwinds, brass, strings, and percussion. So why do we care about this? Well, actually, before I say why we care about this, our objectives today are basically to know what sort of instruments fall into these families and also create a 4-track beat using BandLab, which you should have set up yesterday, using a loop from each instrument group or instrument family. When we talk about protest music on the synchronous day, that'll be a part of that as well. So why do we care about this, though? Why should we care about this? Well, the thing is, even though most of the music we'll be making remotely will be using electronic instruments, electronic instruments usually try to emulate the sounds of these four instrument families. And sometimes they combine them together. Sometimes you'll have something that doesn't necessarily sound like a traditional brass instrument or a woodwind instrument or a string instrument. Sometimes they get combined all over the place, and it's super cool. I highly recommend you watch this video to explain the idea of timbre or tone. It's just the way instruments sound, right? The same way words sound different, right? Something like deet versus doot versus dote versus dot. They all have very different tones and sounds to them, the same way a violin would sound very different from a saxophone or a xylophone or a djembe or anything like that. So we're not going to go through and read through every one of these, because actually, if you click this little thing at the top, you'll notice it will read it for you.
Brass family.
Oh my
A
gosh.
brass instrument is a musical
It's
instrument
amazing.
that you play by blowing through a mouthpiece to change the pitch
So
or
cool.
note.
So again, you can read that at your own pace or use the read aloud to get that as well. But there's also a wonderful example of some really cool Cuban brass. This trumpet player, you should listen to a little bit of that as well. There'll also be a description of woodwinds, which again, you can use read aloud if you want to hear it. And some killer woodwind stuff from this band Too Many Zoos. They were doing, you probably have seen this viral video at some point. I hope you have. Then, of course, third family, string family. Again, you can hit read. Watch this dope example of some violins, one of which is an electronic violin. Well, not electronic violin. It's like an electric violin, the way a guitar can be electric. Then percussion instruments, again, hit read if you want it. And watch just a little bit of this salsa demo for percussion. So, and a reminder, when we're talking about all this, a lot of instruments don't necessarily fall into one particular family. But just like Venn diagrams, it helps to like use these families to understand kind of where they come from. For example, you can tap on a guitar like a drum. You can pluck the strings within a piano like a guitar. And if you use a violin bow on a vibraphone, you can create some really scary, like Annabelle style horror movie music that's super duper cool. And for example, like this instrument right here, take a listen to that. It's crazy. It sort of combines percussion with strings and with marbles, which I don't know. Again, some more examples you can listen to on your own time. They're just in the presentation for simplicity's sake. The main meat of this video is showing you how to create a 4-track loop using BandLab that uses instruments from all 4 instrument families. One thing, it's a little hard to find woodwind categories on here. So if you're having trouble finding a woodwind family instrument, just search for a flute or a saxophone. After we have our synchronous session on, when is that? Monday. Sorry, we're going to have our synchronous session. I had a brain fart there. We're going to have our synchronous session on Monday, and that's when you'll complete your reflection survey. I want to remind you, you're not necessarily being graded on these first BandLab, I want to call them experiments, these BandLab loops, because it's hard getting into this new tech. It's hard doing it remotely. What I really care about is showing that you are putting in a lot of effort to try to master this program, and then reflecting thoughtfully on what went well, what didn't, what questions you have. That way, when we get near the end of this unit, you've had a couple of at-bats before you really gotta like show up and show out and create something cool. So keep that in mind. The instructions are right here. You can also find these instructions when you go to Google Classroom. So I'm gonna go ahead and go there. And I'm gonna do this all through, oh, this is the wrong Google Classroom. Whoop, there we go. Technical difficulties. Oh my gosh, it takes so long to load. Perfect. So I've got all my classes up here. I'm gonna go just use A1 as my demo class for this. If we go to classwork, great. It should be under async day 2, instrument family loop. Right now, this is just a draft, so it's not gonna show up in your BandLab, but you'll notice there are instructions here. Find a loop for one of the instrument families in the loop library, drag that loop over into the track listing, repeat that process until you have strings, woodwind, brass, and a percussion track. You're gonna do a couple of cuts and drags to kind of get it all to line up into 4 bars. And then you're gonna click submit and just chill, it'll be fine. One thing, if you can't access the assignment from the link attached, try using one of the links in here where it'll say your actual class period. So you might have been accidentally taken to A2 BandLab instead of A1. So use that if you get stuck. I'm gonna click on this. It should take me right to where I need to go. View assignment. Ah, that's right, I forgot. So when I did this, I actually messed this up the first time, so I had to start over because my sound wasn't sharing. When you do this, I'm gonna go ahead and just delete these guys. Well, I'll give you guys a quick listen. This is the beat I put together. Crap. I'm gonna pause for a sec. I'm realizing now I gotta do something. Okay, pause share. How do we do this? Stop share. Okay, pause. Okay, sorry, technical difficulties, and we're back. Gonna go ahead and share this one more time so you can see. Great. Now what you're gonna do again is go to that link that we had before, and when you do that, it should pop up, fingers crossed, and look like this. Yes, thank you, perfect. So I'm gonna click on Start Assignment, click on Teacher's Assignment. And when I do that, it might take a second to load up. That's okay. We got time. Just gonna beatbox while it happens. This is really taking a long time. Okay. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. There we go, beautiful. So once we get into this, we're gonna go to Browse Loops. And the one thing I knew I was having a little trouble finding before was saxophone or flute maybe. So I already see saxophone. I'm gonna make my life a little easy. Wow, look at all these loops. There are so many ones to choose from just with saxophone. I might as well just start from the top. Let's see what we got. That's okay. Ooh, I kind of like that. I'm gonna go with that one. So what I'm gonna do is drag that one over. Now I want to make sure. Oh man. Okay. So yeah. See, this is what happens. Sometimes it won't go exactly where you want it. You'll notice right up there, it's not starting at 0, 0, 0. It's starting at 0, 0, 0.3. Right. We want to get it all the way back to the top so that loop starts where we want. Now, I'm noticing too, this beat looks a little funky. It looks like it's not exactly one measure, and I know I want to make a 4-bar thing. So you'll notice at the top here, we've got these little chunks like 1, that's 1 bar, 2, a bar, 3, a bar, 4, a bar. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of chop this down, just like a piece of wood. And then I'm going to click on this guy. You'll notice just this one is highlighted right there. Then I'm just going to hit delete, backspace, you know, and oh my gosh, it goes away. Then I can use Control Copy, right, which is just Control C, hit that, then Control V to copy. I'm going to fill it all out. So now Control C, Control V, just like in, you know, Microsoft Word or in you know, Google Docs, you can fill out this whole thing to get a 4-bar phrase. So now that I've got one instrument group down, I've got my woodwinds down, now I can start diving a little deeper and start thinking about what else I want. So I'm going to try, I'm going to pull myself back up so people can see my lovely face. I'm going to try finding, I don't know, maybe some drums. It seems like maybe right. So I'm going to go to loops. Yeah, so then I can click on, oh, here we go. This is going to be, yeah. So now I can look at all this stuff, find some drums. There's tons of drum grooves here. Some great stuff for percussion. This one's. Okay, let me feel that. It's pretty dead. Yeah. So if I start playing those together, they've kind of synced up. Ooh, okay. Oh, it stopped. Oh, okay. So one thing you need to do then, right, once you've started putting these in, if you want to hear it on loop ad infinitum to infinity, you got to click this little looping button right up here. And that'll show you this little red set is going to repeat all 4 bars for you going across, right? So then if you hit play, if you use space bar or this play button, then that groove just keeps going. I'm feeling that a lot. Yes, this is very nice. I'm feeling that. That's awesome. So now I've got percussion, I've got woodwind down. Now I'm going to try, let's see what else I need. Let me see some strings. And the thing is, for strings, I could also use guitar and certainly bass, because most bass is, you know, bass guitar. Let's just try some strings. Let's see what this sounds like. Let me see. It's a little soft. Ooh, I like that a lot, actually. That's really cool. Almost sounds, well, yeah, let's go with that. That might actually be kind of more of a percussion instrument. It almost sounds like a kalimba. See what that sounds like. Ooh, so this one's short, so I got to copy and paste that again. That's going to be Control C, Control V. Cool. It's a little busy. I'm going to delete that. I'm not really feeling that anymore. Let me try something else. Let's see. Bad strings. Maybe air strings. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna be nice. That's gonna be real nice. And that'll just condense right into that loop. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. All right. Very nice. Okay. So now we got this woodwind, we got percussion, we got some strings going on. Need one more family. I'm gonna try some brass. Yeah, that's super sweet. I can already tell that's gonna work really nicely. Okay, let's see what this sounds like. At the very end, I'm gonna crank this up for myself. Not really adding much to that, but yeah, okay. So now I feel pretty good about this now. I'm just gonna click submit, and I'll be totally good to go for this assignment. If I wanna add a note, I can. If not, no biggie. But then I am good to go. And then I just have to wait for the synchronous session tomorrow to check it over, do my reflection after I do some peer review, and I'm good to go for the class. So obviously, that stuff might take you a little bit longer. But all of this is just experimenting, figuring out the pitfalls, and just diving in headfirst to figure it out. Any questions you have about how to do this stuff, we will walk through in our synchronous sessions. And if you can't make the synchronous sessions, please reach out to me if you're still having trouble. So with that said, much love to you all. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you tomorrow.